So we did this campaign for this kombucha brand. As you can see, the product size is absolutely crooked. This is not right. That's not how big the actual can is. This is what the can looks like. And hey, I don't blame the models. I don't like it's okay if they don't know because there's no way for them to know. But it is your responsibility to tell them because the thing is, on brands like Nike, Adidas, or Coca Cola, even the models are so trained because that's where they were trained off of. But like brands like this kombucha company, the models were not trained on this data. So they like it's easy for the like when you see AI generated content on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Instagram, wherever, you see that, oh, there's a Coca Cola campaign and it's so good and so realistic. But the problem is there was so much data that the AI models were trained on for those products. But when you're trying to create something for your product, for your client, you like they're a smaller brand and those big companies, big AI labs never really trained those models on your client's product. So that's why we you end up with results like this. And that's a big problem, right? Because how I mean that isn't that the whole point is to get the product consistency so that you can save them money through AI generated campaigns. But if you can't get that, then you don't get paid. And so there is three ways how you're basically going to go get the product size right, because this is something that you're going to run into every single day, with every single campaign, and it's very important that you basically make it a habit or a religious religion to get this right. First way is that you are going to write dimensions on the product reference image, the image that you're feeding to the image model. So as you can see, this is my product reference image. It's going to all the image nodes that I'm generating. And so some are smaller, some are bigger and weirder, some are less weird, and some are just absolutely horrendous. Um, but how else the models are supposed to know if you don't tell them how big your fucking can is? You know, how big is the product? What's the size of the product? What's the relative thing? And so you basically, I don't know if you see my mouse, you write product dimensions here, let's say 13 by 2, whatever it is, okay? You make a little sizing chart and you make that a part of your reference image. And so if you don't want to do it manually, just have a compositor node, um, and just basically add, so like use this as compositor node, use this as the background, and then add text. Oh, what? Yeah, come back. So basically you just add text, and this text becomes your one input, um, 1 by 3 or whatever, and then you could basically edit it. How do you want this text to be displayed? Because then you can change that, you can rotate it. I hope you can. Yeah, you see, now this is, you have rotated the text. Congrats. Now basically this acts as like your reference, whatever the size is, 13-inch, like whatever, I'm just giving you an example. And then that, you add another layer on this side, the long side or the wider side, and then use this image rather than the previous image as the reference image. Now, just this easily, you have added size instructions. So basically, when you turn this into a tool, when you turn this workflow into a tool, this would act as one of the inputs, and you'd have another one of these and add it into the compositor node. You get the idea. I fucking hope. And yeah, you enter 2 dimensions and or your product image, and you hit run, and you get the concepts ready to go. Another thing that you can do is build the size of the product into the prompt. And that is what I'm doing with this workflow. As you can see, exactly 15.7 centimeters tall, 5.8 centimeters in diameter. So you are building the reference, the product size inside the prompt. Again, you can do both, because I would highly recommend doing all the measures that you can do, just so that'll save you time. It'll also save you like hassle. So how you would do that, you would these two textbooks that you're going to have here, let's say this is the length or tall, and then add another text which is called wide, and whatever your prompt generation system is. So now we have two layers, as you can see. Whatever your prompt generation um, system is, if this node also acts as an input to that prompt generation system, and you have variables built in. Again, that's not the scope of this video. We can dive into that later, but you get the idea. So the first one is put the size into the reference sheet, use that as a reference. Second, put it into the prompt. Then the third is actually bringing two real life objects together to kind of show how big the product is. So for example, if we have a phone, iPhone or whatever, this is Samsung, and then have your product stand next to it, because the models know how big the iPhone is, it'll know how big the product is as compared to the iPhone. That gives it more um, realistic way to kind of judge the size of the product, in addition to you giving the size in both the reference image, in numbers and writing, and also the prompt. So these are three things that you're going to do next time to get product consistency, and so that your results can go from this little massive piece of can to something a little bit more realistic. Hope it made sense. And yeah, I hope it works, because there's no other way. Or unless you want to train LoRa, that's that, I guess. But that's pain in the ass.